Looks like we're about to get underway. Yo, what's poppin', dude? Alright, so Grola is the secondary character in this game, much like, the base of Mega Man and base. She dashes a little bit faster than Tia slides. She also does full dash speed jumps and does wall jumps. So her movement and her attacks are all based off of Zero and the Zero series that you just saw in the previous two runs. Got a triple combo slash. She also has a charge slash that she can use. And that's pretty much it. She takes extra damage, but deals a lot of damage to bosses, so it's sort of a volatile speed run where lots of stuff that can kill you very quickly. EaB is starting with Freudia as the first boss. You can do any order you want because Grola doesn't actually get power-ups from the bosses. She only has her sword the entire run, so you can do any order that you want. You're going to notice that he is doing a lot of triple slashes as often as he can. The first two slashes deal 3 damage each, but the third deals 4 damage. So the idea for fastest DPS is to hit your first 2 slashes into the boss's iframes and then do hit her once a second with your third slash. If that doesn't work out, then you can either do charge slashes or just like normal jump slashes if you have to get away from her for whatever reason. So this stage is in fact Grola's stage. One of the benefits of being able to choose what your stage order is you can just do the hardest stages first. This is one of the more finicky stages for Grola, namely because of the boss fight, but that doesn't really have any applications to a no reset run, just mainly for RTA attempts when you want to get your resets out of the way early. So here we're going into the boss fight of Grola's stage, which plot twist is Grola herself, and Tia, the actual main character of the game, comes in to fight her. And this is just about one of the worst fights in the run. Tia is completely unpredictable. She can do whatever she wants. She likes to walk into you a lot. It's really hard to get attacks off on her without taking a lot of damage herself. And one of the mechanics I forgot to mention is Grola's desperation mechanic. When she drops below half HP, her charge slashes deal 4 damage instead of, I think, like, they normally deal 2 damage when you're above half HP. At least the way part of them does, which is what you use them for. So you want to be at low HP, and you take extra damage, so you're always at risk of dying in just like 1 or 2 hits on pretty much any boss fight in the game. So now we're on CJ stage. A lot of the stuff in this game is references to other franchises, namely Mega Man, of course, but this stage in particular is a reference to, of course, the clock tower areas and the various Castlevania games. Normally you'd be fighting death with this sort of backdrop with the giant clock tower in the background with sickles flying everywhere, but I guess instead we get daggers flying everywhere with CJ. So EaB opting for Trier stage next. This is a fairly straightforward stage, aside from there being spikes everywhere. There isn't really too many places that are like really death prone. Oh, I thought maybe we were about to see the legendary top route in a marathon. I've only seen that route like once or twice because it's like outrageously slower than bottom route. I didn't even know that it existed for like the first several months that I was aware of this game. But you end up going like a completely different route through the stage and even end up in a different boss room entirely. So, Trier, you can actually manipulate her. You'll notice EaB going up towards the top of the room when she dashes away, and that's to make her do that attack that she's doing and dash back. You cannot get Lily with Grola. It is blocked off, and as far as we know, there's no zip for Grola in this game that can send you downward. I think there's only like horizontal zips in like maybe one specific area. Yeah, this game has a great soundtrack. I'm a big fan of it myself. And the sequels as well. Lady has a really straightforward boss fight. She can kind of jump like different distances. If you want to go really man mode, you can try to hit her with triple slashes as she's coming down, but you risk her jumping right into you if you don't position yourself perfectly, or if you don't like correctly predict where you think she's going to land. So you notice, EaB actually went for the zip there. I've never actually seen anyone go for that in RTA, because if you go for it and you don't time it correctly, you just fall straight through the gap and die. And it only saves like a fraction of a second. But the zipping in this game is instant. It's not like Mega Man 2 or other games where you zip at like some obscene speed. You just straight up teleport like to the nearest horizontal position, I think, which happens to be over on the right side of the screen. This platform section that EaB is on right now, it doesn't look like he's or actually I didn't see if he did or not, but unlike most platform sections like that, like all the platforms will be connected on some sort of cycle. That one they're not. You spawn them as they come on screen, so you can save some time if you jump off to spawn them earlier and jump back on. And you can also cancel this little jump animation after each boss fight if you're perfectly in the center of the screen. Not perfectly, but there's some pixel window that you have to be within. And you do a slash while Grola tries to jump, and it just interrupts it and saves a small amount of time. So Schwer's stages in both the RKS games tend to be tricky. Not really tricky, but they try to lead you into your death by telling you faulty information. Of course, we can't forget about our boy Zeppy. Where's little squid friend? And last but not least is Zorn. Not really much to say about this stage. Everything's pretty straightforward. Kind of just, you know, move to the right and jump and slap. Yeah, if you went for one of the only, like, RTA viable gap jumps in the run. There, but unfortunately didn't get it. You kind of gotta kick off the wall in just the right place, and then it'll... You do a dash beat jump, it'll put you right through. Really nice fight. So now we're moving on to the first fortress. AKA Dracula's Castle. Here, there's some things that they needed to put in the game for Grola. Tia normally gets through that room without that platform guy there. She's just not even... Platform's just not even there. Because you can use your, like... the items. Fines or Vi to get through rooms like that. So, Crosswall, this is the bane of every casual player's existence in their first playthrough of this game. I see EaB baiting the green things to the right side of the platform there. Very nice fight. And then walking over to the left to avoid them. It's a really easy fight to just get hit by anything and die, but if you do know you're going to get hit, the way knockback mechanics work in this game is you always go backwards relative to the direction that you're facing, so you always want to be facing like outward away from the center of the platform if you know you're about to take a hit. Here again, Grola gets a platform to get across here. Normally Tia would use Vi to get across with. So the different positions that these stained glass clumps spawn at, some of them you can actually get double hits on if they're low enough to the ground. I forget which one specifically, we'll see. Maybe I'm misremembering and RTA doesn't actually go for those. But it is possible to do them. Hitting, because when you do your triple slash, there's like two different areas of the hitbox. There's like, when she lifts the sword up behind her, you can hit the glass, and then you can also hit it like with the arc that goes in front of her and get 2 hits for the price of 1. So, plot twist, Ryman Safar, death guy here, is actually Grolla's father. Can't really offer any more lore besides that, because that's about all I know. So Ryman has some sort of parry mechanic, where he likes to block your hits. The best time to get damage in Phase 2 is when you saw EaB bait that giant sword all the way off to the right, because then he can't parry during that time. But you can skip that cycle entirely, completely skip not the second cycle, but skip the parry attacks that he does. But it's pretty much TAS only, close to it. Maybe IL or Theory TAS at best. So there's 2 routes in this stage. The top route is faster for Grolla. The bottom route is faster for Tia because of the items that she uses to get over some spike hits quickly. So if you've played just about any Castlevania game, you'll know exactly how this fight goes. Perhaps Zeppelin, well, not quite like a normal Dracula. He doesn't teleport randomly every time. There EaB was able to get some good RNG and just be able to bait him back and forth over the shortest distance possible by jumping over him over, alternating between each hit. Yeah, so this is Iris. Iris? Yeah. She has like her own castle or something, and she's doing stuff in her castle. If we have to go thwart or something. You can see I'm actually a lore expert on this game. So this stage, as far as the stage goes, it's probably one of the easier stages in the run, but as far as the boss fight goes, it's, I would say, the absolute hardest. The boss fight is based on Bow Spider from Mega Man X1, but it's significantly harder than Bow Spider. There are a lot more patterns, there's a lot more rungs that Boss Spider can go down, and you can hit her while she's in the air. So you have to be really quick about reading the pattern, make sure you're not taking too much damage. Make sure you know if you can go for triple slashes or not. EaB would really like to be in desperation phase there. Well, he gets it anyway with that hit. I think that was a 3 cycle, maybe? Maybe 4? Task and 2 cycle. RTA, I think the God cycle is like a 4 cycle, I want to say. Maybe 3 cycle under very rare circumstances. The 2 cycle, you need an absolutely specific pattern. Not in any way, shape, or form doable for humans. So this stage is, in my opinion, one of the more difficult stages because of this gravity mechanic. At least for me, I can never really wrap my head fully around having the controls be reversed. At least on the y-axis, jumping makes you go downward, not on the x-axis. So here's everybody's favorite egg boy. You've seen Yellow Devil, you've seen Dark Devil, you've seen Shadow Devil, but you have never seen, possibly, the Deviled Egg. Fortunately, EaB misses a slash there, which I believe means he's mandatory going to get 1 more cycle than what's optimal. I think you need to get 2 hits on every single cycle in order to get the minimum, which for Grola is 4, if I remember correctly. This, because of where the eye spawns in Deviled Egg's hitbox, you can't reliably go for triple slashes on him, so you pretty much have to use an E-Tank on this stage as part of the fastest strat for humans in order to give yourself more desperation hits off. Because you can't, like, even some eye spawns, you can't even get a normal slash off without taking damage, and there's only so many hits that you can take. Because you want to be at desperation. So now we're on the boss rush. You get to see all the waifus in one place. Yeah, Iris 3's theme is actually really cool. But you only hear like 2% of it in the speedrun since you're constantly interrupting it with the boss fight. It gets a lot more eventful later on as the song goes along. So Grola does the bosses in counterclockwise order. The reason is because you can't really do Tia's second phase without taking damage. So you really want to be at full health going into it. And be able to trigger Desperation phase during the second phase. The bosses also drop health after each each time you kill them. You don't have to pick it up, but it does help a lot. A lot of the fights are really difficult to avoid damage on. It's usually a lot faster to pick that up than to go for an E-tank. Yeah, EaB had the E-tank there. It's kind of hard to avoid CK's desperation attack since she freezes time when she does it. So the 40 replay, just like the first one, you want her to do this attack. This is the best attack for her to do. The second best is to do the laser beams. In this case, really similar to the first fight. The only thing that makes it different is the layout of the room. There's no steps, so it makes it a little bit harder to avoid those giant blades. EaB really has to make sure he does short hops under here. It's pretty easy to jump for too long and get hit by the bottom of Iris Machine. So final fight. This fight is completely dependent on where Iris decides to spawn on the screen. She can teleport to pretty much anywhere. She can be too high for Gola to hit, she can be too low for Gola to hit, and then you just start hemorrhaging time. Ideally you want her to be at ground level so you can get triple slashes on her, but if she's a little bit high in the air like that, that's not quite as bad. That's not the worst, I should say, as her being like completely out of range, because you can at least get 6 damage on her. And time is going to come up when the cutscene starts, after the boss fight is finished, not when she reaches 0 HP. It's also when the HP bars disappear, but this game uses in-game time, so we'll be able to see what the time is with that regardless. Some really unfortunate luck for EaB here. Very nice run overall. No deaths, which is very rare even for top tier runners of this game. Very easy to die in this game. And time. But yeah, that was a really good run. Congrats to EaB.